Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. So, among my commercial work, I do portraiture for local folks. And somebody had recently seen my street portraits and said, I want you to photograph my parents. They're in their 80s, they're vibrant, but I want them to be photographed by you with that style that you do. So I showed up with the Rolleiflex and showed up with a couple of rolls of film, and I said, so you just want black and white, right? And they said, no, we want color. And I said, oh, you want color? Well, that's a little different. Now I have to shoot some digital. So I shot the Rolleiflex, and I shot a Leica M9 with a 50 1.4 Nikkor lens. And the photos are wonderful. The color are beautiful. The black and white are beautiful. I made up a gallery for them. They chose which ones to get printed. And it was just, what a rewarding thing to do. Have an afternoon to go out and photograph people, work with them, direct them, create different poses. They were so much fun to photograph, and they have such a light in their eyes as they're connecting to each other. They've met probably over 50 years ago, I think they said. And I said, you guys probably still feel like those teenagers. I want to photograph that. I want to photograph your connection. And the color photographs I really, really like. I like that M9 with that Nikon lens. The Rolleiflex portraits, there's some sweet, sweet portraits. And that's the kind of thing that's like a bonus for you're making work, the kind of work you want to make, like my Rolleiflex portrait project is. And then other people see it and it turns into commercial work. And that's just a win. I get to document that family. And then they put in an order, and I gave them the total for the order of what they wanted. They wanted so many photos from for each of the family members who wanted different size prints. And I said I would put the order in, and then they said, oh, we didn't know it was going to be so expensive. It was a couple of $100 more than they thought it would be. So they said, we're just going to take some of the photo order down and make it so there's less photos ordered. And then they send me that new list. And I thought, what to do? And I made the order for the first list. And I ordered all the photos that they wanted. And then they paid me by check, and the check was for the second total. And I said, but there are all the photos there, because if you didn't want to do it because of the cost, I care more that you get those photos and every one of your family members gets the photos that they want more than I care about that cost. And it would be great to make that payment, but it's not enough for me to say, okay, fine, you don't get these. No, you have to get them. You have to have those. I want those in your family. Do you realize what a win it is for me to make photographs that are in your family, and you get to have something that you keep, every one of your family members has, and those faces that I made are now a part of their world in frames. And I delivered one in a frame so that they could see what it looks like framed. There were so many photos I couldn't put them on frames, but I did put one in because I wanted them to see what it looks like. And they were so thankful. And I had a big win because I made the photos I wanted to make. I directed them and made the poses the way I wanted them to be. They made their order. They got their photographs, and that was a good day. All right, that's today's photography talk. I'll put a link in the photos to the photos below. You can see them. That's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate you, everyone. I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.